What's up, you guys? Sean Rossap. It is Fightful.com. It is June 16th, I believe it is. What a mess that this situation has become. WWE has reported their second positive COVID test, and they revealed this towards the end of Monday Night Raw last night. I immediately had a ton of talent messaging me livid about the situation because they feel like the situation was put out there for the media and put out there online before they were given the courtesy of knowing. Here's the timeline. At about roughly 10:45 p.m., Ryan Satin posts a story saying that WWE has a positive COVID test. Less than 10 minutes later, WWE has supplied a statement to the media with a comment from an associate medical director. So this led a lot of talent to think that WWE gave the news to media, gave the news to Ryan specifically. I don't know. I haven't spoken with him about that, but they were upset about that. The ones that I spoke to, I can't speak for everybody. So that wasn't good. The last time this happened, a positive COVID test, I actually knew about it, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday before it broke, and I tried to get WWE to comment on the matter for days before that. Then when I got a hold of the memo from the internal talent relations app that was sent out informing WWE wrestlers that there was a positive COVID test, then they decided to issue the comment, and they did sort of the same thing. They gave it to Ryan, then they gave it to the rest of the media after that. But this was a little bit different because there were no rumors, there were no rumblings or murmurs or anything of a positive COVID test before Ryan had this out there. So when talent hear about it online for the first time, as opposed to WWE telling them, well, that didn't go so well for a lot of people. WWE did issue a comment and said, quote, a developmental talent who was last on site at the training facility on Tuesday, June 9th, has tested positive for COVID-19. Since that time, no individuals that attended the facility have reported symptoms. However, out of an abundance of caution and to ensure the health and safety of the company's performers, staff, talent, and production crew and employees on site at the training and production facilities will be tested for COVID-19 immediately. Following the test results, WWE plans to proceed with its normal television production schedule. Now, for WWE, their normal television production schedule was to film on Tuesday. However, that has been moved. There were people that came in on, I think it was Tuesday morning around 9, 10 in the morning. They were getting tested all until roughly 2 p.m. Eastern, at which time those that were waiting in what I was told was a massive line were told to come back at 7 p.m. Now, there's a lot of foggy stuff out here about what one company does, what one company doesn't do. WWE's been doing fever checks, and that's it. They've been doing temperature checks, and I have heard of people that have had higher than normal temperatures that have been allowed in the Performance Center in the past, but I haven't heard about that in over a month. So I can't speak to if that's a regular thing, but I was told there were a couple of exceptions there. They don't do COVID-19 tests in WWE. We asked Triple H about it on a media call, and he said, well, the rapid tests aren't always so accurate. Well, you know what's less accurate than a rapid test? No tests at all. And that's what's been conducted there. That's what's been conducted there. None until this morning. I've got a story that I'm working on right now that is pretty funny. And a lot of people ask, well, what's up with AEW? Well, from what I understand, they do the rapid blood test before anybody can even get into Daly's place. At least that's the case for the wrestlers. There might have been some straggler or scraggler, whatever the hell the damn word is, that you see during the Stadium Stampede that didn't get that. I don't know. But the wrestlers are getting the rapid blood test before they get to before they go into Daly's place. That's what's going on there. Ring of Honor doesn't have to do anything because they're not running shows. I'm not sure of New Japan's methods. Now, we had reported in April that a WWE talent tested positive for COVID-19. They were pulled from the events, had no contact with anybody from WWE at the time of exposure, and then they returned to work a few weeks later. There's been no issues. People were glad to see them. A well-liked person anyway. Oh, man. So there were reports last night that WWE pressured people to not wear masks. And John Alba said, no, that is not the case. John Alba, a great reporter, he said, multiple fans in attendance at Monday's WWE tapings tell me they were not told they couldn't wear masks. Several reports in the last 24 hours indicated they couldn't wear them. Good on that. That seemed like a weird thing to put out there on the behalf of those that did. He said that people that he spoke to said they never felt pressured to not wear a mask for TV purposes or other reasons. And the assumption was that WWE would tell these people, oh, don't do that. We don't want that on our TV. That wasn't the case based on who John Alba spoke to. And John Alba is not going to run something unless he's sure about it. The fans were not informed that they had to get tested, but WWE personnel were tested. WWE says that those weren't fans, that they were friends and family. They say, quote, fans have not been in attendance at WWE events since March 13. Yesterday, a select number of friends and family were permitted to attend WWE's production. These individuals were required to participate in medical screenings prior to the closed set at our training facility and were kept apart from in-ring performers and production personnel. Attendance was below 20% capacity and had social distancing guidelines were adhered with. At least 6 feet between parties, thus face masks were not required. I think it'd probably be a good idea for them to just do the face masks anyway. Just do them anyway. Why not? Why not? Now, there were reports from John Alba that says that the fans had to sign waivers, the quote-unquote fans, the friends and family, were required to sign waivers. And there were a couple times that wrestlers went into the crowd during those. And the Street Profits danced with people. They were not 6 feet apart during that situation. I'm not saying that's going to completely cure the situation. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know more than the CDC or the WHO or anybody. But I've got a lot of wrestlers that feel really unsafe about a lot of this stuff and have. And obviously, there's a couple, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, that didn't come to work because of it. And they shouldn't have. And there were still people, when Jimmy sent me that sarcastic cameo from Roman Reigns, that were like, oh, well, he needs to come back now. You think he should have came back now? Because I sure as hell don't think so. What a bummer. Louis Dangor of Wrestle Talk, who we had on our Backlash post show, said that WWE talent did not know that non-roster members would be allowed inside the Performance Center for the show. And the reports of them not being allowed to wear masks, that seemed a little fishy to me anyway. But such is life. And I wanted to save and wait and talk about this on the Listen You Boy Wednesday. It is our weekly news show, but it seemed like such a big story that I should probably compile everything and kind of put it out there. This is an absolute mess. This is not good. And the element of, well, you can't get any positive tests if you don't test anybody, man, that's irresponsible. That's irresponsible. Right now, you have Ring of Honor still paying their talent despite not running shows. Well, maybe they're saving some money, so to speak, not having to lug everything everywhere. Well, WWE fired a bunch of people. You have AEW doing at least the rapid tests before people get into their building. WWE wasn't doing those. Not until today, not until they had to. By the way, heard the testing was not that invasive, wasn't that intrusive. It was fine to go through, in case you wondered such a thing. Then on top of that, they got to deal with that fella who keeps showing up at the Performance Center doing weird shit all the time. That sucks, man. That sucks. There are a lot of people in WWE who are getting their first coronavirus tests today. A lot of them. Somebody says, do you have proof of that about ROH? Yeah, I've talked to half the roster. Yeah, they're still paying people. Do I have proof of that? No, I come on here and say unsubstantiated shit all the time. That's my jam. That's what I like to do. Come on here and just talk out of my ass. I'm frustrated about this, man. There are a lot of good people who are put in an unsafe environment here that should not be in an unsafe environment. There are a lot of people that should not be in this position. Somebody says AEW is hiding the results. We never hear anything. Listen, if your response to WWE having a positive COVID test is trying to whip it out and say, but what about AEW? You are a dork. Let me tell you, you are a dork. This is people's lives. This ain't some Wednesday night wrestling thing. This is a possibly deadly infectious disease that you're trying to make AEW, WWE. AEW's doing the rapid test. There you go. AEW is doing the rapid test. They are not required to put out there if somebody tests positive 15 minutes after they took a test and were sent home. Those people are given their privacy, just as many of us in the media honored the privacy of the person who we know the name of the first person who tested positive and didn't put that out there because it's not anybody's business. It's not anybody's business. If WWE didn't put this out to the public, fine. But they should have told talent before they told us. The talent should not have found out at the same time that I found out. The talent that work in that building deserve to know that they were around someone with COVID-19 before I knew. That's common courtesy. Now, the first time around, the person who was infected with COVID-19 gave WWE permission to publish their name in the memo and notify them. They weren't ashamed of it or anything like that. They wanted full disclosure for their coworkers. And for that, I will always respect that person for that. But I also respect the person who doesn't want that out there. I'm just saying I gained a measure of respect for that. Oh, man. Somebody asked, do you think WWE or New Japan will start testing fans when they reopen next month? I don't know. The rapid test, I'm told they get the results back in 15, 20 minutes based on people I've talked to with AEW. But, man, if you all are getting into the, but AEW, man, who cares? Who cares? Do you know how annoying it is to post anything about AEW or WWE? And one of the first replies you get is, but WWE or but AEW. Man, that's so ridiculous. Especially when it deals with the health and well-being of the performers out there and their families. Man, that's ridiculous. Something really bad could happen. Ric Flair was at that taping last night. 71. And rumored to have died on an operating table. Unreal. They don't need to do this. Not necessary. Just test people. Do the rapid test. Does it cost money? Yeah, it costs money. UFC's doing it. Think about that. Dana White was like, we got to test everybody. Dana White has got to test everybody? Boy, that just sends your moral compass spinning around and around and around right there. When you're behind Dana White on that boat. Dana White's doing the right thing. He's making sure that the people that work for him are healthy. Now, should the Jacare situation have been handled a lot differently? You're goddamn right it should have been. Because that could have been catastrophic. But they took every measure that they could after that to make sure that people are safe. I respect that. WWE waited until they had to. That's frustrating. That's scary. That's irresponsible. Of course, we're going to talk about this more on Wednesday on The List, and your boy, myself, and Fightful founder Jimmy Van are back at 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys check that out. It's a good time. and hopefully times get better for all of us. Guys, I thank you all so much for being here. I don't do a lot of these breaking news shows, and when I do, I usually do them on Select. Something of this nature, I felt like it made a lot more sense to do it on the main page. That's why any news I get about COVID-19, I've been posting on my Twitter as opposed to Fightful Select. But if you all would be so kind, subscribe to us on FightfulSelect.com. Our subscriptions have exploded lately, and I can't thank you all enough for that. You basically get a free, not a free show. You're paying for it. You get a show every day, and you get news all the time. I'm breaking news over there all the time, and that ain't stopping. Thank you guys so much. Till next time, we're out.